So, fourth canto, 12th chapter, verse number 24. This chapter is entitled Dhruva Maharaj Goes Back to Godhead. Tasyakhila jagat dhatur avam devasya sharinginaha parshadav iha samprapto netum tvam bhagavat padam. So, Nanda and Sunanda, the two carriers of Lord Vishnu who have come to take Dhruva Maharaj, are speaking to Dhruva Maharaj. When Nanda and Sunanda came, Dhruva Maharaj was completely, stunned, and he just bowed down and he chanted the holy name. So that's what was previously described. I'll just read a few verses before. Dhruva Maharaj was always absorbed in thinking of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. His heart was full with Krishna. When the two confidential servants of the Supreme Lord, who were named Nanda and Sunanda, approached him, smiling happily, Dhruva stood with folded hands, bowing humbly. Then they addressed him as follows. Nanda and Sunanda, the two confidential associates of Lord Vishnu, said, "Dear King, let there be all good fortune unto you. Please attentively hear what we shall say. When you were only 5 years old, you underwent severe austerities, and you thereby greatly satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead." Maybe we read this. We are representatives of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Creator of the whole universe, who carries in his hand the bow named Sharinga. We have been specifically deputed to take you to the spiritual world. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that simply by knowing his transcendental pastimes, whether within this material world or in the spiritual world, anyone who understands factually who he is, how he appears, and how he acts can be immediately fit for transfer to the spiritual world. What verse is that?
जन्मकर्मच मे दिव्यमेवं युवेति तत्त्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैति मामेति so Arjuna.
Yes. This principle, stated in the Bhagavad Gita, operated in the case of King Dhruva. Throughout his life, he tried to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by austerity and penances. So we should also do austerity and penance throughout our life to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Austerity and penance means to minimize one's eating, sleeping, mating, defending, like that. And like the the six Goswamis were doing, to minimize the bodily engagements and to increase devotional service. That's penance and austerity. Now the mature result was that Dhruva Maharaj became fit to be carried to the spiritual world, accompanied by the confidential associates of the Lord. So after undergoing a life of austerity and penance in devotional service to the Lord, then he became fit to go back to the spiritual world. So we have to do austerity, like chant Hare Krishna nicely, follow Ekadashi vows. Yesterday we were hearing about the importance of doing Ekadashi, right? I think we were hearing the class yesterday.
Yeah. Somebody unknowingly performed Ekadashi. And that he didn't get a ghost body.
Yeah. It's similar to that of like Prahlad Maharaj's past life. He also fought with his wife and then He fasted and he didn't sleep whole night. It was the temple of Nrsimhadev, something like that.
Hmm. And the ghost story was similar to the one where the importance of Raj Raj,
Yeah.
like the woman who was supposed to be killed by the bull, but it had Raj Raj, so she
Correct.
didn't become a ghost. So
Yes. Okay, so devotional service activities are so powerful that they can nullify all the sinful activities. So, but we should also try to become pure in heart and avoid sinful activities and like that. But devotional service can nullify all sinful activities. One name of Krishna can counteract more sins than we can even commit. Chanted purely, I think it says like that. Or even otherwise, Sanketyam Parihasyam Vastovanam Helanam Eva Vaikuntha Nama
Vaikuntha Nama Grahanam Asheshaga Haram Vidhu.
Grahanam. So there are so many activities like in Nectar of Devotion it is said that when you clap your hands in front of the deity, when the arati of the Lord is going on, then the birds of sinful reaction fly away. Like if birds are sitting and you clap, then all of them fly. So similarly, by circumambulating Tulsi Devi, one is absolved even from the crime of committing, crime of murdering a Brahmana. So, so devotional service is very powerful. Ajamil, another example. So many different. Only thing it will not work if we think that I will do devotional service to nullify my sins and I can keep doing sins and I will do devotional service. Then it becomes an offense. Otherwise, yeah, devotional service can completely wipe out all the sins. Okay. Anyway, so this yagna, dana, and tapa are not to be given even by the great souls. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So, austerity, charity, and penance. So, charity is especially meant for householders because they are the only ones who earn money in the Varnashram. And also, charity also means to give charity, means to give this knowledge also of Krishna consciousness. So, everybody should preach and give this charity of holy name, charity of prasadam, charity of the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So in this way, one can become like purified. Yagna, dana, and tapa. Yagna is the Sankirtan yagna, and dan, Prabhupada says, is best used. That dan, which is meant for uh, pushing on the Krishna consciousness movement, is the best dan. So So we are building a temple. In TOVP, they are building a temple. So this will propagate Krishna consciousness. So anything that is used in the service of the Lord to push on, to save the conditioned souls, that's very much appreciated by its transcendental charity. And if you give charity to those who are engaged in preaching Krishna consciousness, then that charity is returned unlimited number of times. Veda Paraga, as Prabhupada says in the purport, Ayur Harati Vaipumsam, that if you give a charity to a very pure devotee who is using it everything in Krishna's service, then such charity is returned millions of times in your next life, or maybe this life also. Okay, so verse 25. Sudurjayam Vishnupadam Jitam Tvaya Yat Surayo Prapya Vichakshate Param Atishta Tachandra Divakaradyayo Graharksha Taraha Pariyanti Dakshinam. To achieve Vishnu Lok is very difficult. But by your austerity you have conquered. Even the great rishis and demigods cannot achieve this position. Simply to see the supreme abode, the Vishnu planet, the sun and moon and all other planets, stars, lunar mansions and solar systems are circumambulating it. Now please come you're welcome to go there. So you have qualified yourself to go back home, back to Godhead. This going back to Vaikuntha is very difficult to achieve. It is easy, but it is difficult also because we are conditioned. It's like you have drunk alcohol for many years now. Is it easy to give up alcohol? No, it's not easy because we are conditioned. You drunk alcohol for so many years. So, in the same way, the conditioned soul has a very deep conditioning, a lot of material desires. So that's why it's difficult. That's why we need help. We need help, and that help comes from the pure devotees of the Lord, like that. From the Bhagavatam, by reading the Bhagavatam, from devotionals, from Krishna himself, like that, from devotees. So this is what we need. We need help to undo our conditioning, which is very deep. So we should associate with devotees and become inspired to serve Krishna. So that is how we can undo. Then it becomes easy. Everything is based on desire. So we have to desire to go back home, back to Godhead. We have to desire to serve Krishna and give up those desires that are keeping us in the material world, especially those desires for sense gratification. Desires for sense gratifications are we want to enjoy the senses because we want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. That is why we are doing whatever we are doing. The goal of life is to enjoy, as Prabhupada said. But as we are reading, the way to enjoy is by rendering service to Krishna. But other ways of enjoying, trying to enjoy by establishing a nice material situation and working hard for this is all illusion. It's not going to work. So, so this is the way to enjoy. As Rishabh Dev says, that you have to engage in austerity and penance. What is that verse? Nayam
Nayam deha bhajan nirloki kashtan kaman arhate vid
Pujami.
pujami tapo divyam putraka yena satam sudhir brahma sokyam tvanantam.
Shuded Yasmat Brahma Sokyam Tvanantam. Yeah, so one should engage in austerity and penance to purify one's consciousness. And when the consciousness is purified and you come to the spiritual platform, you elevate your consciousness, then you will enjoy, like Tapo Divyam Putra Kayena Sattvam Shuddhye Diyasmat. Shuddha means purified. With purified consciousness, Brahma Saukyam Tvanantam, you will enjoy happiness that will never end. Material happiness ends, right? After some time you indulge in material happiness and then you can't enjoy anymore after that. But this happiness, spiritual happiness, lasts and it satisfies the soul. So there are many, we were discussing how material happiness decreases with time as you indulge in it. It has side effects. So many things have to be right, materially speaking, to enjoy material happiness. You have to have money, you have to have good health, you have to have good relationships, you have to be free from all legal problems and all this, so many different, to enjoy and for a short time. And then it has a side effect. It will also give you misery. Yehi sansprashajab hoga dukkha yonayavate. Whereas spiritual happiness is just the opposite. It does not depend on how rich you are, how good you look. And it does not decrease with time. It increases with time. It has no side effects like material happiness has. There's a misery that comes along with it. So these are all right. So considering this, then we should aspire for spiritual happiness. Okay, so the next verse. And Prabhupada says, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. So there is so much pleasure in devotional service, but we have to experience that pleasure. There is so much when we hear nice Krishna Katha, when we read Bhagavatam, when we chant Hare Krishna, when you serve in different ways, then there is pleasure actually. Krishna says this process is very joyful. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitramidam Uttamam, Pratyakshavāgamam Dharmyam,
Susukhum kartum avyayam.
Susukham Kartum Avyayam. So initially it is not very joyful. This chanting, especially Japa, it's like very difficult. But as you keep doing it, Syat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapya Vidya Pito Patapta Rasatnasya Narochikanu Kintva Adaradhanudinam Khalu Seva Jushta Swadvi Kramad Bhavati.
Tadgadamulahantri.
So then slowly and gradually happiness will come. Material happiness is very immediately, it gives happiness. It's instant happiness, but then it gives you struggle and trouble. Whereas spiritual happiness is not very palatable in the beginning because of our conditioning. It may not be, but later on it becomes very nice. So that is what we should aspire for. The Shastras are saying, and they are not saying you cannot enjoy. They are saying you can enjoy, but enjoy in the right way. Okay.
So I was thinking, in Kali Yuga, this process has been made very simple and very joyful for us, right? It's chanting, dancing, and feasting. Here, Dhruva Maharaj was performing Ashtanga Yoga, so there was a lot of austerity involved. But as you're saying, in Krishna consciousness, it's a very joyful process. I was thinking that the devotees who live in the temple from morning till night, they are serving Krishna. It's identical to living in the spiritual world. They're serving Krishna and they're surrounded by devotees. They're laughing, making jokes, and talking about Krishna. So we can experience that by serving in the temple.
Yes.
And then automatically we will not have any other desires for material enjoyment once we get to experience a spark of this happiness. And being engaged in devotional service, unconditionally also, the consciousness while doing devotional service should be, I just want to please Krishna, right? So then we'll start to feel that happiness in doing that service, and then we would want to continue.
Yes. Yeah, if you are living with devotees who are very much aspiring for pleasing Krishna, then in that association it becomes very joyful. And they have no hidden agenda, nothing like that. They just want to please Krishna. And if you're in that association, then one can spend a whole lifetime. Like there are many temples where there are a lot of devotees, right? And they're happily living and serving Krishna. So a whole lifetime can pass like that. So, and at the end of this lifetime, you find yourself in the spiritual world. And you are surrounded by devotees only, like you were saying. It's like in the spiritual world. We are surrounded by devotees and service to Krishna. So it's same here in the. That's why those who are very blissful in the association of devotees, they don't like to leave anywhere. So, okay. So the next verse, 4:12:25.
We didn't read the purport, did we?
Okay. Yeah, I think we don't read. In Bhagavad Gita, yeah, correct. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that simply by knowing His transcendental pastimes. Okay, anyone who wants to read that?
25th.
25th we have to read. Yeah, the purport. Now please come, you are welcome. Yeah, we have to read this purport. Even in this material world, the so-called scientists, philosophers and mental speculators strive to merge into the spiritual sky. But they can never go there. But a devotee, by executing devotional service, not only realizes what the spiritual world actually is, but factually goes there to live an eternal life of bliss and knowledge. The Krishna consciousness movement is so potent that by adopting these principles of life and developing love of God, one can very easily go back home, back to Godhead. Here, the practical example is the case of Dhruva Maharaj. While the scientists and philosophers go to the moon but are disappointed in their attempts to stay there and live, the devotee makes an easy journey to other planets and ultimately goes back to Godhead. Devotees have no interest in seeing other planets, but while going back to Godhead, they see all of them as passing phases, just as one who is going to a distant place passes through many small stations. So, on the way back home, back to Godhead, you see the heavenly planets and all, Brahmalok and all this different. But the soul only wants to go back to Godhead, so he doesn't take a detour, he doesn't take an exit. That's what Prabhupada is saying. He doesn't want to see other planets, he just wants to go back to Godhead because every other planet, although very maybe very enticing, but it's nothing like the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, there is no death, there is no old age, and you can enjoy forever. So that is what we want. Sometimes people say, unless you experience misery, you cannot enjoy. That's why misery is essential part of life. We have to experience misery. So then we can enjoy. So Devamrit Maharaj was saying, let me beat you on the head with a rod. And then, afterwards, you will feel uh, relief when your pain subsides, when you take some treatment and you put some bandage and like that, and afterwards you will become better. So, do you want to be beaten like that? Nobody will agree. So, people say like that yeah, misery is there so that we can experience happiness. But nobody likes misery. Nobody wants misery. So, in this world of duality, absence of misery is considered happiness. And like that. And the example is given that of the
The prisoner whose head is dumped underwater till he's not able to breathe, and it's brought out for a brief moment, and he's able to breathe nicely, and that's what he's considering enjoyment. But again, after some time, it's been dumped into water.
yeah.
So the material happiness is actually temporary absence of distress.
And sometimes we think I have a nice house, I'm very happy, I can live comfortably. Now I have nice bank balance, I have a nice family. So like that we feel very happy for the time being. I have some all the money. Money is equated to happiness. I have a lot of money now. I have this and that, nice family members and like that. But give some time, and either you will fall sick, they will fall sick, you get diseased, they will get diseased, and then eventually old age will arrive, and then death will come, and then everything you have to leave behind. So for the time being, because of the illusion of Maya, we feel like, oh, it's very nice. I'm in such a nice situation. I have nice spouse and I have nice children and my job is very nice. I'm respected at my job. People respect me and like that. So this kind of feeling comes. I have nice bank balance. I can buy what I want. So it is just the temporary phase where one feels like that. Like Prabhupada gave the example of the goat chewing on the grass before it is slaughtered. So it's like God is feeling very happy for a few days. Like, very nice, I have nice grass and all these things. Doesn't know that after a few days it's going to be slaughtered. So similarly, because of the Avaranatmika Shakti, the covering potency of Maya, we feel very happy in whichever situation we come into. Not knowing the bigger picture that how that death will come and I will have to depart from here. Nothing is mine really, I cannot take anything. And then again, I have to go into another womb, another chapter in this material existence, again, start the same thing, again, struggle. But because we are getting some sense gratification for the time being, we feel very happy. Oh, I'm getting so much enjoyment like that. So maybe nice food to eat, and Prabhupada says, yeah, this sex life is the highest material enjoyment that one is, bound by. So in this way, one is not satisfied with by repeated sensuous enjoyment, and he sets himself up for another material body. So like that, next life again, you come back. So yan maithunadi grihamedi sukhamitucham kandu yanena karo yor iva dukkha dukkham tripyanti neha kripana bahu dukkha bhaja kandutivan manasijam vishaheta dhira.
Vijaya. Dhira.
So like that. I think it's spoken by Prahlad Maharaj. So like that. So this is how one does not get satisfied by repeated sensuous enjoyment, and he has to go through so much trouble and struggle. And because he's in illusion and everybody's struggling, he thinks this struggle is happiness. This struggle for, establishing oneself in a nice material situation is happiness. Like that. Not knowing the bigger picture, and that real happiness is in devotional service to Krishna. So like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
for momentary pleasure, we are signing up for cancer, like accidents, very difficult situations, because they are bound to happen in the material world, right? Maintaining such desires, we are signing up for, yes, give me distress.
Yes. Material body because you want sense gratification, so that's why you get material body. And when you get material body means you are signing up yours. So when we are celebrating birth, but with birth there is death also. And with death there is disease also. Generally before death you have disease and all the bodily problems. So you are celebrating your birth, but it's a package deal, we say, right? It's not one without the other. So those who are intelligent, they can see through this. That yeah, this is not. Yeah, I'm getting some pleasure, but it is also there is. I can get cancer. I can get so many kinds of diseases are there. So so we are setting up ourselves for all this, and we have done so many lifetimes. We have suffered from cancer and all this. We have forgotten. We have forgotten God and like that. And again, we are trying. The same thing we did in our last life, we are trying again in this life. Of course, we have our bodily needs and biological needs like that. So it can be, fulfilled Krishna conscious way like that. But then we have to experience, when one experiences higher taste, then says, no, this is tucha. This is not worth it. Okay, so it's difficult to give up the desires for sense gratification, but only when we have higher taste and we like mercy of Krishna, then we can give up. Otherwise, it's very difficult. And strong sadhana, strong absorption, and austerity and penance is there in one's life, then those things will go away. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Devotees have no interest in seeing other planets, but while going back to Godhead, they see all of them as passing phases, just as one who goes to a distant place sees through many small stations. Next verse.
And also, I mean, Amoglila Prabhu was talking about how Krishna tempts us, giving, like, all these small stations might have a lot of, I mean, things about, okay, you can enjoy in this way and that way. And so many people don't even desire to go back home, back to Godhead, right?
Yeah.
Because they are tempted, and Krishna tests them, and then they get allured by these small things and missing out on them.
Yeah. So, yeah, it is not like this world is not, is Dukhalayam. It is classified by Krishna as Dukhalayam. But there are so many things to enjoy, right? There's the Disney World, there's Universal Studios, you can go to Hawaii, you can go on cruise. So many, you can buy so many things. There's so many things to enjoy. So Krishna is wanting to see that despite all that you have for enjoyment, you will still choose me over all the other things. Then that's how uh, we are tested with all these different temptations, so that you will choose me and you will serve me despite all the temptations and all these things.
I think you gave this example, if you're going somewhere in your car and you put in your GPS the destination, but while going, you see so many exits where there's nice things they're saying, you can relax there and there's some nice things to view and so on. So if you start taking the exits one by one, you'll not reach your destination.
Correct.
You're wasting time and you are elongating your misery in this material world.
Correct. So those who are on this path are resolute in purpose. Vyavasayitmika buddhi. They have set their target and their goal, and so they are not. Once you are driving and you say, no, my destination is to go there. There may be so many exits and so many temptations, but I will not stop anywhere. My goal is to go to New York or wherever. So like that, Florida. So that's how we should. Those who are on this path, they are resolute in purpose. They are not diverted. But to come to that platform is not easy. So to come to that platform is not easy. So we need the association, hearing from Srila Prabhupada. Because Prabhupada, who is more Vyavasayitmika Buddhi than Prabhupada? Despite so many, setbacks, he was still, fixed on his goal of spreading Krishna consciousness. So we need association, that kind of association, where which can make us Vyavasayitmika Buddhi. So not deviate us. That is Anastitam te pitribhir anyer apiyanga karhichit atishta jagatam vandyam tad Vishnu paramam padam. And generally it takes time, it's not so easy. Slowly and gradually, as our anarthas go away, then nishtha comes. Nishtha is like Vyavasayitmika Buddhi. Nishtha means firm determination or firm faith, you could say. But that firm faith is not firm because of the anarthas in the heart. So to get rid of anarthas, you have to do what? Bhajana Kriya.
Bhajan.
Bhajana Kriya. And to be strong in your Bhajana Kriya, you have to take
Sadhu Sangha.
Sadhu Sangha. So, like that. So, in this way, then we can come. When anarthas become less, then we can come to the platform of Nishtha. And then nobody can sway you. Because now, you don't feel those things are very valuable. Because in your heart you feel, yeah, these are not valuable. This Krishna consciousness is valuable. Like Haridas Thakur, right? Nobody could sway him. They threatened to beat him up. There were temptations. But Haridas Thakur could not be swayed because he had made up his mind. Or he was experiencing so much taste. Like if you have nice, samosas and kachori and hot sabji, you won't even look at 6-month-old sabji that has just come out from the refrigerator. You won't even look at it. This is nicely, freshly prepared. It's something like that. You don't want to even consider that. So they experience that much taste. So taste in devotional service will come with sacrifice, Krishna wants to see also how painstaking, because when Krishna gives love for him, then he becomes purchased by such love. So Krishna also, makes sure that that is why pure devotional service is also sudurlabha. It's rarely achieved. One symptom of pure devotional service, it's rarely achieved. So, like that. Okay. But it's not that Krishna doesn't want us to. He wants us to become pure devotees. Prabhupada says, we'll consider our mission a success even if one man becomes a pure devotee of the Lord. So, anasthitam te pitribhir anyerapyanga karhichit atishta jagatam vandyam. Okay, I read this. Tad Vishnu paramam padam. Dear King Dhruva, neither your forefathers nor anyone else before you have ever achieved such a transcendental planet. The planet known as Vishnu Lok, where Lord Vishnu personally resides, is the highest of all. It is worshipable by the inhabitants of all other planets within the universe. Please come with us and live there eternally. They are inviting him to Vaikuntha Loka, and nobody has achieved before you, they are saying. But his forefathers are like Brahma and Swayambhuva Manu. So they are Mahajans, right?
Yeah, but they may have a long life. I mean, they are staying behind while Dhruva first is going back.
Maybe now he's going, now they are still around. Like Vritrasur told Indra, you use your Vajra and kill me because I'll go back home, back to Godhead, and you'll rot in this material world. You want a long life and lot of enjoyment. You'll rot here. I will go back home, back to Godhead. Of course, they were all devotees, Swayambhuva, Manu, Brahma. They will also go back to spiritual world. Our Brahma is a pure devotee, they say. So they'll go back at the end of their life. But yeah, staying in the material world means only prolonging your miseries. The longer you stay in the prison, the longer the miseries are there. I mean, of course, but for a pure devotee, it's very joyful.
Jivo Vaharova.
Vishwam Purnam Sukhayate. Because it's very joyful for him. It doesn't matter whether he's here or he's there. Yeah. You live or you die. The saintly person bless the devotee. You live or you die, it's the same. It doesn't matter. Here you are serving Krishna, there you will serve Krishna. It's same. There's no difference. So when Dhruva Maharaj went to perform austerities, he was very determined to achieve a post never dreamed of by his forefathers. His father was Uttanapad, his grandfather was Manu, and his great-grandfather was Lord Brahma. So Dhruva wanted a kingdom even greater than Lord Brahma could achieve, and he requested Narad Muni to give him facility for achieving it. The associates of Lord Vishnu reminded him that not only his forefathers but everyone else before him was unable to attain Vishnu Loka, the planet where Lord Vishnu resides. This is because everyone within this material world is either a karmi, jnani or yogi, but there are hardly any pure devotees. The transcendental planet known as Vishnu Loka is especially meant for devotees, not for karmis, jnanis or yogis. Great rishis or demigods can hardly approach Brahmalok, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Brahmalok is not a permanent residence. Lord Brahma's duration of life is so long that it is difficult to estimate even the duration of one day in his life. And yet Lord Brahma also dies, as do the residents of his planet. Bhagavad Gita 8:16 says, A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. Except for those who go to Vishnu Lok, everyone is subjected to the four principles of material life, namely birth, death, old age, and disease. The Lord says, Yad Gatvana Nivartante Tadhama Paramam Mama. The planet from which, once going, no one returns is my supreme abode. Dhruva Maharaj was reminded, you are going in our company to that planet from which no one returns to this material world. Material scientists are attempting to go to the moon and other planets, but they cannot imagine going to the topmost planet Brahmalok, for it is beyond their imagination. By material calculation, one who travels at the speed of light would take 40,000 years to reach the topmost planet. By mechanical processes, we are unable to reach the topmost planet of this universe. But this process, called Bhakti Yoga, as executed by Maharaj Dhruva, can give one the facility not only to reach other planets within this universe, but also to reach beyond the universe to the Vishnu Lok planets. We have outlined this in our small booklet, Easy Journey to Other Planets. So, okay, so by
Uh,
Bhakti Yoga, we can go to Vishnu Lok.
yeah, and also he says that even by Bhakti Yoga, one has a facility not only to reach to other planets but
Hmm.
also to Vishnu Lok. So, as a yogi who performs bhakti for a short duration, right, unsuccessful yogi. So if he has desires for enjoyment, then he'll go to some other Swarga planet,
Hmm.
and many years he can enjoy, and then he'll be born in a family, in a rich family, aristocratic family, where he will get the chance to perform bhakti again, right? So there is no loss in the path of bhakti process. But it extends, they again going up and down. So better become a pure devotee and go back
Hmm.
home in one lifetime. Make
Right.
this life your last life, as Prabhupada said.
Yeah, like Indra and others are devotees with material desires. They're called Sakama Bhaktas. So they are in the Swarga Lok, and they didn't go back to the spiritual world because they still had material desires to lord it over. So they ended up in the Swarga Lok. They are devotees, but they are Sakama Bhaktas. They are not Nishkama Bhaktas. So if you have, because chanting Hare Krishna can fulfill all desires. So if you have desires for material enjoyment, then Krishna will send us there wherever we want. So chanting Hare Krishna is like that. So it's all based on desire. Everything is based on desire. Krishna says, "Ye yatha mam prapadyante, tans tathaiva bhajami ham." As you desire, as you surrender, I reciprocate accordingly. So, like we desire to enjoy independently of Krishna, and Krishna created this huge material world. So, and all the species of life to accommodate all the desires of the jiva, to enjoy in different ways. There are different species of life. Some species of life can enjoy very nicely. Things we can't do in human body, the other species of life can enjoy. So Krishna has taken into account all the desires of the living entities. So everything is based on desire. So desires are formed by
Association.
association. So if you associate with those who are in the mode of goodness, you have certain desires. If you associate with those in mode of passion, those people in mode of passion, then you have certain desires. If you associate with those in mode of ignorance, you have certain desires. So all desires are formed by association. And based on those desires, we carry out our activities, which we call as karma. And based on the karma, you get your next life and your destination like that. So like that. So everything is based on association. And so the pure the association, the purer we will become in that association. So we have to seek out the association as Prithu Maharaj and everybody is saying, right? Narad Muni, I mean Prahlad Maharaj, everybody is saying, give me the association. Which other prayers we read? I think Prithu Maharaj though we read, and there was another one that we read. We also want association of Prithu.
Was it? Uh, Not Prachita's. Recently we read.
Mhm. After Prithu Maharaj we read. There also we saw that wanted the association. Was it Bali Maharaj? Bali Maharaj we
Bali
read.
Maharaj. Yes, Bali Maharaj.
Bali Maharaj. So now we may say, well, there are no pure devotees because like that. But anybody who's aspiring to become pure, also we want their association. So that way also we can take. Okay. So next verse, one more verse. एतद् विमान प्रवरम उत्तम श्लोक मौलिना उपस्थापितम आयुष्मन अधिरोधम त्वम अर्हसि. O immortal one. This unique airplane has been sent by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is worshipped by selected prayers. Uttama Shloka means there are two ways, right? Uttam means topmost, and Shloka means verses. Those verses that glorify the Supreme Lord are the topmost verses. Or the Supreme Lord is glorified by the topmost verses. Means the best composition of verses. Did I say that correctly? Yeah. Okay, so two ways. This unique airplane has been sent by the Supreme Personality of God, who is worshipped by selected prayers and who is the chief of all living entities. You are quite worthy to board such a plane. So Krishna has sent this plane, Vishnu. So please board. According to astronomical calculation, along with the pole star, there is another star which is called Shishumar, where Lord Vishnu, who is in charge of maintenance of the material world, resides. Shishumar or Dhruva Lok can never be reached by anyone but the Vaishnavas, as will be described by the following slokas. I thought the pole star is sometimes referred to as Dhruva Lok, right? But here it says, along with pole star, there is another star, which is called Shishumar. Okay. The associates of Lord Vishnu can be brought the special airplane for Dhruva Maharaj and then informed him that Lord Vishnu had specially sent this airplane. The Vaikuntha airplane does not move by mechanical arrangement. There is no machine in it. There are three processes for moving in outer space. One of the processes is known to the modern scientist. It is called Kha Pota Vahi. Kha means outer space, whereas the Kha use Kham.
So go khara.
Go Khara. Khara, that is Khara is the S, but Kha is Bhumi Apo Nalo Vayu.
Kham mona buddhi
Kham Mano Buddhi Devacha. Ahankara Itiyam mein Bhinna Prakriti Ashtatha. Kham or Kha is denoting space, and Pota means ship. This Pota, where is this Pota used? Pota ship or the boat?
Otam. Nardeham Sulabam Sudurlabam Idamba Manushyamarthadam.
Huh? Where?
Nadeham, isn't that verse?
Dehamadhyam Sulabham Sudurlabham Bhavam
Labam
Sukalpam
Sulabam.
Guru Karnadharam.
My Potam, no, this verse doesn't.
Bhavabdi Potam.
Bhakti Potam.
Is that?
No, Bhavati. Oh, that's in Dhyam Sada Paribhava Ganam Abhishtadoham Tithaspadam Shiva Virinchinotam Sharanyam Pratyartiham Pranata Pala Bhavabdi Potam.
Vande
Vande Mahapurush Te Charanaravinda.
This is the verse describing Lord Chaitanya. You want to tell the translation?
You can explain. I can paste them. I can read the translation. My dear Lord, you are the Mahapurush, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I worship your lotus feet. which are the only eternal object of meditation. Those feet destroy the embarrassing conditions of material life and freely award the greatest desire of the soul, the attainment of pure love of Godhead. My dear Lord, your lotus feet are the shelter of all holy places and of all saintly authorities in the line of devotional service and are honored by powerful demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. My Lord, you are so kind that you willingly protect all those who simply bow down to you with respect, and thus you mercifully relieve all the distress of your servants. In conclusion, my Lord, your lotus feet are actually the suitable boat for crossing over the ocean of birth and death, and therefore even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva seek shelter at your lotus feet.
Okay. Nice verse to memorize. Of course, we did. Deyam sada paribhavagnam abhishtadoham tirthaspadam shiva virinchinutam sharanyam prityartiham pranatapala bhavabdipotam vande mahapurushate charanaravindam. Okay. So it is called Kha Pota Vahi. So this, what is it called? Three processes for moving into outer space. Kha means outer space, Pota means ship, and Vahi means, I don't know why it's not saying. There is a second process called Kapota Vahi. Vahi means like Vahan, I think, the vehicle. Kapota Vahi. Kapota means pigeon. One can train pigeons to carry one into outer space. The third process is very subtle. It is called Akasha Patan. This Akash Patan system is also material. Just as the mind can fly anywhere one likes without mechanical arrangement, so the Akash Patan airplane can fly at the speed of mind. Beyond this Akash Patan system is the Vaikuntha process, which is completely spiritual. The airplane sent by Lord Vishnu to carry Dhruva Maharaj to Shishumar was a completely spiritual transcendental airplane. Material scientists can neither see such vehicles nor imagine how they fly in the air. Material scientist has no information about the spiritual sky, although it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Parastasmatu bhavo anyo. So there are these airplanes we cannot see with our material vision. That's what Prabhupada is saying. So many things we cannot see with our material vision, but we should not conclude that they don't exist. So there are subtle things that are working. So, like ghosts, you can't see ghosts, right? You can perceive the presence of ghosts, but they are there, right? So many people have talked about ghosts, so they are there, but you can't see them with your just material vision because they're in subtle form, subtle body. Similarly, even more subtler than that is the spiritual process, and spiritual things are more subtler even than the mind. So you can't see them. Like the soul, we can't see. So, but we still believe there is soul, right? That I the soul, I'm going to transmigrate into different species of life. But nobody has seen the soul. So we should not conclude. Seeing is believing is not correct. There are many things beyond our perception and we can't see them. That's what Prabhupada is saying here. Also, okay, so we'll stop here. Does anybody else like to say anything? Or we can hear some song.
We can read pastimes.
Pastime. Which pastime we should read of Lord Chaitanya?
We were starting to read. We were in the middle. I think we were discussing about Murari Gupta.
Oh, Murari Gupta. Did I?
We were at verse 105.
Okay. Murari Gupta, Chaitanya. That we read Murari Gupta's pastime.
There was a pastime about his. I mean, he had hidden a dagger because he wanted to kill himself.
Where is that?
Chapter 20.
Okay. In
Madhya.
Bhagavad.
Chaitanya Bhagavat. Mm.
Writings of other acharyas. Chaitanya. Actually, I am in Chaitanya Bhagavat. But where is this reading of past acharyas, other acharyas? Chaitanya on this Chaitanya Bhagavat 20.
Chaitanya Bhagavat, chapter 20. Yes.
Which verse is it?
I think it's 150.
50.
150.
Okay, let's see. Okay.
This is emergency. Because as soon as I go out,
Maybe not. This is not the right place.
You can tell me where it is.
We read few verses. I'm sorry, Prabhu. I've lost the verse number. Okay, we read the pastime of him offering Mahaprabhu to eat, right? And then he had. So.
Which verse number?
78.
78. Okay.
So that was Garuda that we read.
Okay. Yeah, so Mahaprabhu assumed the form or mood of Garuda, right? And then
Correct.
Murari Gupta climbed. Is it?
Okay, so we are 105 verse this pastime starts.
Okay. One day, the most pure Murari thought about the position of Lord's incarnations. While the Lord and his associates are still present in this world, I should think of my own welfare. I cannot understand the pastimes of Krishna or how he acts at a particular time. Sometimes he creates and then he annihilates. Although he destroyed Ravana and his dynasty to bring back Sita, why did he then abandon her? Therefore, I should give up my body while he is still present in this world. So he's saying, I cannot understand the pastimes of Krishna or why he's acting like that. And this is a very, difficult thing to digest that Lord Ram abandoned Sita. So many people have that, question. Why did Lord Ram abandon Sita? She was left in the forest, right, by Lakshman at the ashram of, whose ashram?
Valmiki.
Valmiki. The proper time to give up my body is while that great personality is still present in this world. After contemplating in this way, Murari Gupta secretly brought one sharp chopper. So he was saying, I cannot understand the Lord and his activities. And he was thinking about Ramayana, when Ram abandoned Sita. So he wanted to give up his body before the Lord. One day, while thinking about the Lord's incarnations, Murari Gupta realized that the incarnations of the Lord manifest their pastimes and then conceal them. That the Lord destroyed the dynasty of Ravana to deliver Sita and then abandon her, and that the Lord arranged to destroy his beloved Yadu dynasty. Yeah, so all the Yadus fought with each other and killed each other. Therefore, with a desire to kill himself during the presence of the Lord, he brought one sharp weapon. Many things are not understood unless you understand in parampara. Like how can Ravana kidnap Sita? Many things. One Brahmana in South India was very disturbed when he read in this Ramayana that Ravana has kidnapped Sita. So that all these things, then Mahaprabhu went to further south and Adikeshav temple. He found Kurma Puran, and then he brought that Kurma Puran. So it's bewildering how these things happen. So he thought, let me die before the Lord leaves, and I'll die in front of him. So as he brought that chopper and hid it inside the house, he thought, tonight I will happily give up my body. Lord Vishwambar resides in the heart of all living entities. He therefore understood Murari's resolution, understood what Murari wanted to do. Because Krishna is super soul, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows everything. Another pastime where Mahaprabhu knew everything was with Sanatan Goswami also. Right?
Yeah, correct.
He wanted to commit suicide by throwing himself before the Jagannath Rath Yatra cart. And another pastime where he knew the heart was Chota Haridas.
Vasudev leper also.
Vasudev Lepar, Chota Haridas, like that. He knew, he could understand the heart. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the super soul in the heart. And yeah, in Mahaprakash Lila also, like many times, when devotees don't know, or the Lord knows everything. So he would come to rescue the devotees. As happened with Gangadas Pandit, with Advaita Acharya, he gave the explanation of the verse that Lord's legs are everywhere, his eyes are everywhere, then how he can be a person like that. So maybe that was the question of Advaita Acharya. What was bothering Advaita Acharya about that verse? That the Lord has his feet
Hands
everywhere.
and legs, eyes everywhere.
So what was the thing that he was not able to explain in terms of devotion is that
Yeah, it
Lord.
was a Brahman and Paramatma concept in which he is pervading everywhere.
Mhm. But what was he perplexed about? Is that how come because he was explaining every verse in terms of devotion, and this particular verse he could not explain. So he was
Mm.
fasting, like something like
Mm.
that. Okay, maybe that how the Lord is a person if he's everywhere like
Yeah, correct.
that. The Lord quickly came to Murari's house, and Murari offered his respectful obeisances at the Lord's feet. So, before he would do that, Lord came. Feeling great compassion for Murari, the Lord sat on an asana and began to narrate topics of Krishna. The Lord then said, Murari, what will you do what I say? Murari replied, O Lord, this body belongs to you. The Lord asked, Is that a fact? Murari replied, Yes. The Lord then whispered in his ear, Then give me that chopper. So, if the body belongs to you, give me that chopper. You have kept a chopper inside the house with which you plan to kill yourself. Give it to me. Just like Krishna told Arjun, go and get the 5 arrows from uh, Duryodhan. Krishna, how did Krishna know that those 5 arrows are with Duryodhan, which he had taken from Bhishma? So, so it's like Krishna knows. Give it to me. In great lamentation, Murari exclaimed, Alas, alas, someone has told you a lie. The Lord said, Murari, you are certainly knave. Are you saying that I will know something only if someone else tells me? So the Lord knows everything. Vedaham samatitani, vartmanani cha Arjuna, bhavishyani cha bhutani, mam
Mam te vedana
vedana
paschim.
kasyana. Krishna says, I know everything. If I know, and one should meditate on the Lord as the one who knows everything. I know who made that chopper and where you have hidden it. Like when Nityananda Prabhu came, yesterday we were hearing, Nityananda Prabhu came and hid in the house of Nandanacharya. And Srinivas and who was it? Was Advaita? They went looking.
Haridas.
Haridas Thakur. Yeah, they went looking and they could not find. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew exactly. Even Advaita Acharya, when he was living in Shantipur, then he came to Navadvip. And Advaita Acharya wanted to test if Nimai really was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he said, I will not tell that I have come to Shantipur, like that, something. And then the Lord found out that he has come to Navadvip, that the Lord found out. So nothing can be hidden from the Lord. The Lord is the omniscient super soul in the hearts of all. And not only what we are doing, He sees, but whatever we are thinking also He knows. Inside our heart, what our desires are, everything He knows. The Lord is the omniscient super soul in the hearts of all. So He knows everything. He went inside the house and brought out the chopper. He knew where it was, where he had hidden it. The Lord said, O Murari, this is how you behave? For what fault of mine do you want to leave me? The Lord doesn't want His devotees to go. If you live, with whom will I enjoy pastimes? Who has given you such ideas? O Murari, give me your word that you will never think of such things again. Just as we don't like our friends and our family to leave us, right? Because they are dear to us. So the Lord is also, the devotees are very dear to the Lord. So He says, promise me that you will never think of such things again to end your life. Lord Vishwambar then embraced Murari and placed his hand on Murari's head. So nice to have the Lord's hand. Even the gopis are saying that, please put your
hand on our head.
On our heads. There's a verse.
Also, when the devotees is being distracted, going away from devotional service, Krishna intervenes and somehow gives him distress or something because he doesn't want him to go away. And that is love of Krishna.
Even if the devotee leaves, then the Lord says, I pull him by the hair and bring him back.
Right.
So, like it happened with Kala Krishna Das, who accompanied Lord Chaitanya on the tour of South India. Then he went away, got distracted, and then Lord Chaitanya brought him back. You will eat my head, Gupta. You will eat my head if you ever desire to give up your body again. So I'll have so much burden on my head. Murari immediately fell to the ground and washed the Lord's lotus feet with his tears of love. The pious Murari cried as he held the lotus feet of the Lord, and Sri Sachinandan cried as he picked Murari up and embraced him. The mercy that the Lord bestowed on Murari Gupta is desired by Lakshmi, Brahma, Ananta, and Shankara. These demigods are not separate from Lord Chaitanya. The Vedas declare that they are not different from Krishna. So, why would we want to end our life? If the body belongs to Krishna, then it is Krishna's property. Same things Lord Chaitanya told Sanatana Goswami, that how can you destroy somebody else's property? You have surrendered to me, so your body belongs to me. How can you destroy somebody else's property? This is my property. Your body is my property. So like that he convinced him. Then Sanatana Goswami said, no, no, but when you embrace me, I don't like that you embrace me, and all the pus from my body sticks on yours, and I don't like all the secretions. And then Mahaprabhu embraced him, and then everything went away. So, like with Vasudev leper. So,
Yeah, I mean these are pure devotees. They are wanting to give up the body for higher reason, but generally there are people who are trying to commit suicide because they are thinking that they are this body, and they're not happy about their situation. They didn't get what they desired, and they think that it's, they'll never be happy. So it's all the concept of I am this body. That's why they're giving up this body, because they think that this body will not give me what I want.
yeah, it becomes so painful to live in the body sometimes when the body becomes diseased, and also that way also, and sometimes the mind gives a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but they say that very few people commit suicide because of bodily issues like, pain or some disease. They commit suicide because of emotional reasons. Their mind is disturbed, that they didn't get something that they wanted so badly.
Yeah, and sometimes mental pain is much more than physical pain, right? Because
Mhm.
that's so much like disturbs. So they can't bear that pain. Like they said, previously there was sati. So the wife would feel so much pain in living uh, separately from her husband because he has died now, that she would think that it's better to commit suicide by entering it. It's not suicide; it's kind of suicide only, right? But because you're voluntarily like ending your life. So yeah, so sometimes it happens that when desires are not fulfilled, and so it gives a lot of heartache, and so at that time only relief we can get is from Krishna, knowing that Krishna is the object of our desire. So
Yeah, and knowing that we are not this body, and everything is temporary.
temporary.
Anyways, even if I get that, that will not be perfect happiness. So let
Correct.
me strive for perfect happiness by serving Krishna.
Yeah, even if you get it, it's going to be lost at certain point. So knowing that nothing can stay here forever. So this kind of, when you have this kind of consciousness, then you're just passing through for a few days. So let me do what is essential, what I'm supposed to do here, because I'm not going to be around forever. So, and nobody is an exception, right? I mean, others have died and we are lamenting, but we are also going to die. I mean, that's a given. There is no like, but you know, so considering that we are only going to live here only for a few years, and we are going to pass into another body. So let me do activities, or let me conduct my life in such a way that I'll have the best destination, and that is to go back home, back to Godhead. So that's how
And
we
the
should.
process itself is so joyful that we'll
That's
be happy doing the process, and we'll end up in the very nice situation.
yeah. It's only the mind that causes trouble in this way and that way, like distracts us, but otherwise.
Yeah, it imagines enjoyment in material things.
Correct.
And people have committed suicide for so many small things, like hear about IITians or somebody who did not get entrance in there in the topmost college. They say no point. I mean, I think society also puts pressure, and they think that I will not be looked up in a proper way. They think that I'm a failure. It's about how others will think about me.
Yeah,
And
that
that's
is,
false ego itself, right?
especially dishonor is very bad. Materially being unsuccessful or dishonor or something like that. That's really. Yeah, but in that kind of situation, one can actually cry out to Krishna and say, Krishna, I'm helpless.
Yeah, and then yeah, Amolila Prabhu was saying that one person was about to commit suicide by closing the windows of the car in carbon monoxide or something. And one ISKCON devotee came and he gave him the book and he said, okay, anyways, I'm going to die. It's taking time. It will take about an hour to fill up the car with carbon monoxide. Let me read few pages of Bhagavad Gita. And while reading, he said, no point committing suicide. Just a few pages he read. It's a true story. So we have to distribute Bhagavad Gita everywhere because people are so depressed and they're thinking and they have suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
We can save lives.
Yeah, when we think that the most auspicious thing we can do with our life is to surrender to Krishna and just spend this few years serving Krishna, chanting His holy name, like that, then we can be in very good situation. We have a lot of hope in Krishna's mercy. Normally, we become depressed when situation becomes hopeless. That yeah, everything is nothing is working out in my life and materially speaking. But we should have hope that materially it will not work, but spiritually Krishna will bestow His mercy. I will.
And then once you do start to do devotional service, your karma changes. As we are saying, your the past sins are all destroyed with chanting of the holy name. So your life will take a turn, and everything good will happen once you start getting connected with Krishna. And that's what Krishna wants actually. So he gives distress in life, and things are not working the way you want because Krishna wants you to come to him. And once you do, then everything will become very nice.
Yeah, it's Krishna only gives distress, and then He only takes us out of the distress, and then we become very obliged. We feel grateful to Him, like the Gunda,
Mhm.
the Kunda.
Yeah, the hero sends the gundas to the heroine because the heroine is not looking at him. So, but these gundas, he says that I'll fight with you. I'll come and try to save the girl. I'll fight with you. And then if I save her, then she'll become attracted to me and she'll start to love me. That's what Krishna is doing. He's sending the distress in our life. And when we start chanting his name, be in the association of devotees, then he'll come remove the distress and we feel so grateful to him that we'll give him our heart. But we should always remember what Krishna did for us because many people, when they are out of distress, they forget Krishna. And then Krishna again has to intervene. So they get these repeated distresses.
Yeah, as you feel more gratitude, then your surrender will increase. Krishna, you did so much for me. You took me out. Now I will give my life to you.
Mhm.
So hero is Krishna, heroine is us, and the gundas are the miseries. So Krishna is the hero, and he wants we are the heroine.
Well, sometimes we say Radha Rani is the heroine, Krishna is the hero. A higher way of devotion is Ashlisha Vapadratam, right? So I'm a servant. Krishna, you can give me anything, distress, or you embrace me. You will still be my most worshipful Lord unconditionally. But that's a higher state where even if Krishna doesn't come to help you, but still you are so much
No, I
in
mean in this,
gratitude.
yeah, correct. In this example that you were giving, the hero is Krishna. He wants us to be attracted to him, but we are not attracted. So then Krishna is
In that
sending
example, yes.
the gundas or the distresses in our life that Krishna sends. So Krishna is the hero, and then in that example, yeah. But
Yeah,
then,
and sometimes Krishna may not come, like people who have cancer. They're not cured of cancer, but still they're grateful in their heart that they anukampam susamakshana, right?
yeah.
Because they have built that faith.
I mean, something or other will get us, obviously. If it's cancer or heart attack or something like that, something will has to happen for us to depart from this world. So whatever
Right.
it may be. So what? for death is certain. Okay, it would be nice if you could just die without any difficulty and any. We don't know how it will come, but sometimes you think about it and it really, you don't know what it will be. You see some pictures of when you are healthy, like some person who was very healthy, and when they were towards, passing away, how their picture is. So it's like a big difference in there. You never thought, oh, this person, he looks so healthy and will be in this situation after a few years. So this can happen to anybody.
Prabhupada said, don't think this will not happen to you when he was at the deathbed. His
Like Prabhupada
disciples
also,
were
yeah.
very young.
Correct. Like Prabhupada also, when he was older and like he was then, how his video, how his body had all become emaciated.
Right.
There was only bones, and then we see Prabhupada in before, just 10 years before, or 5 years before, and afterwards. So it's, of course, he's a pure devotee. So
Yeah, and all his disciples, they were very young at that time when he left his body. Now they are getting older and closer to death, and many have passed away also.
correct. So we should chant as if death is coming, Prabhupada said, so that we can chant nicely.
And that's the most wonderful thing that Yudhishthira Maharaj says. We are seeing everybody is dying right and left, but we don't think we will die, and so we don't prepare for our death. So that's the most, even if we are seeing that, but pashyanapi na pashyati.
Deha patya kalatar deshu atma saineshva satsvapi tesham pramato nidhanam pashyanapi na pashyati. Bhagavatam says that we think that all our fallible soldiers, they are going to save me, but they themselves are fallible. So, seeing that, we don't see. So, nobody can save us. Okay, so these demigods are not separate from Lord Chaitanya. Okay, this is, I think, we are done with this pastime. So, it's close to 9 o'clock. We can stop here. Yeah, nice pastime was there. Okay. So we'll continue another time. Thank you everyone for your joining and daily association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you,
Today,
Prabhu. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
today first time I did 16 rounds.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.